Hello everyone and welcome back. My name is Ivan Vasquez of Plotted Studios, and today we are going over the Fredenstein Artistic EQ 500 series module. The Fredenstein Artistic EQ is a 3-band equalizer made for a 500 series chassis such as the Bento 8 Pro or 10DS or any other Fredenstein chassis. Not only does it provide best-in-class performance and flexibility, but the open sound and ease of use make it perfect for studio or even live applications. The core of the Artistic EQ is the OPA2 Discrete Audio Operational Amplifier, or op-amp. This is not a copy or a clone, but a proprietary design manufactured in SMT technology. By utilizing matched and integrated dual input transistors, it vastly improves the specifications compared to older designs. Lastly, the OPA2 sits in a socketed system allowing you to interchange it or swap it out with a OPA1 upgrade op-amp made by Fredenstein or any other manufacturer's op-amp without having to use any tools. From top to bottom, we have power and clip indicators for the power notification and clipping past 24 dB. To the left of the indicators, we have a high-frequency rotary control between 2000 Hz and 20,000 Hz. Beneath that, we also have a mid-frequency band, which is going to be between 300 Hz and 3000 Hz. Finally, below that, we have a low-frequency filter controlling 30 Hz and 300 Hz. The high and low band also have a plus or minus 14 dB rotary control that could boost or cut respectively. On top of that, you have a shell or bell switch that changes the band pass filtering so that way you could either have a shelf or a band. Whereas the mid-band controller has a color feature. The color feature in the normal position or norm is when the signal path is disabled. This is just going to be your typical Fredenstein Artistic EQ, no coloring. However, when color is selected, it emulates a tube amplifier characteristic in a way that tube amps have artifacts. Now at the very bottom, we have an EQ in button, which is a hard bypass when it's deselected or when it's turned on. You could be able to hear the pleasant enhancements provided by the Artistic EQ, so that way you could A/B test them immediately without having to worry. Now also in the next image, I am going to be displaying the technical information provided by Fredenstein Professional Audio. Such information includes the frequency response distortion, signal to noise ratio, and other general information that you may or may not find relevant. Now, keep in mind the power consumption, although it's low, it is still best to be put in a Fredenstein Professional rack simply because it has the capabilities to handle any and every 500 series module.
If my mother hadn't been strong, we would have drowned that same day. If my mother hadn't been strong, we would have drowned that same day. In the evening when the sun go down, worries and troubles all the next day. If my mother hadn't been strong, we would have drowned that same day. If my mother hadn't been strong, we would have drowned that same day. In the evening when the sun go down, worries and troubles all the next day. If my mother hadn't been strong, we would have drowned that same day. If my mother hadn't been strong, we would have drowned that same day. Even when the sun go down, worries and troubles all the next day. If my mother hadn't been strong, we would have drowned that same day. If my mother hadn't been strong, we would have drowned that same day.
So one thing I really love about the Fredenstein Artistic EQ is right here. This is the op amp location, and if you don't like it for whatever reason, Fredenstein does sell a OPA 1, which is an upgrade. Now, most of the time they're socketed and they don't have a socket actually. So if you wanted to remove them, you couldn't. You have to desolder them. But with Fredenstein, he creates a socketed system. That way you could simply just remove it like that. Now, as you could tell, it's no longer there. Let's go ahead and show you what you can modify it with. If you were to purchase the OPA 1 by Fredenstein Professional Audio, it will come in this box. So let me go ahead and zoom in. And this OPA 1 is simply an upgrade to the op amp. So as you could tell, instead of having the artistic design, which is generally an all black construction, you'll have a gold one, just like the gold series. Now let me go ahead and zoom back out. So by having this upgraded system, you could, just like that, have your new op amp and without much effort be able to replace it. And there you have it. That is now a Fredenstein Artistic EQ with the OPA 1 upgrade in less than 15 seconds. I will say it's much more of a linear response. It is nicer, it's more subtle. I really do like the OPA 1, and if there's one thing I could do with all of my artistic series is actually upgrade the OPA 1. It's really just a nice op amp, and you can't go wrong, honestly, with the OPA 2. It is, like we mentioned, it's a proprietary design. It's really meant to enhance the tone and the sound of whatever source you're using. But to my ears, when I was actually A/B testing the OPA 1 versus the OPA 2, it was a pleasant enough difference, I should say. Now, same thing with all my sources, I generally do kick snare. Toms I didn't do too much of with my Artistic EQ. I tried it on overheads because I kind of emulated the bolt tech. This Artistic EQ can do a lot for cymbals, especially when you start dialing in that color. Now, you can go overboard. If you already have a pretty intense source, you can almost certainly just crank down color and just hammer and smash that. But if you use it within reason, I have no problem with it. I haven't found a source that it doesn't sound good on. I love it. It's one of the nicer features to have on a more modern design, where you see other companies that have their 500 series modules and they just can't get, first of all, a solid state design done very well with proprietary systems. But on top of that, to actually have the artifacts from a tube character, so like the harmonic distortion, like the second and third harmonics, that really plays in a lot into how the color works. And obviously it's really nice for that EQ in and off, just that it's just a quick switch, and I've had plenty of good use for it, and it's really nice to hear the comparison between them. I genuinely do say this. I've tried other 500 series EQs and they just don't compare. This is a 3-band EQ and it absolutely stomps anything else in its price tag, and it fights way above it in comparison to $800, $1,000 EQs I've tried. On that note, you can buy it at Sweetwater, which is my t-shirt. You could buy it online with other resellers, but I prefer Sweetwater. Call extension 1326 and tell them I sent you. But yeah, that is all for today. Thank you very much for watching, and we will be continuing our next artistic video series, and that will be the leveler. Thank you again.